Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Monday to you. Do you like Mondays? I like Mondays. I say this every week, and I'm going to keep saying it, even though I'm a little hoarse this week. Hope you don't mind the voice. I've been fighting that chest cold. Have you been sick? 'Tis the season, I guess, for that kind of stuff. So I've got an extra deep voice, apparently. That's what I've been told. Welcome to the show, everybody. This week, I'm your host, as always, David Burrows, coming to you live from Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. And the reason I say live from Sarnia, Ontario, Canada is because we're simulcast all over the world. Right now, we're live in Australia. They're watching us. United Kingdom. We're over in all throughout the United States, of course, Canada. And I said United Kingdom, Ireland, I believe. And we're now in South Africa. When we go live with this show, it shows up on some hubs around the world. And pretty excited for that. So we are international. Yeah, that's right. Have you been keeping busy? Are you feeling it yet? You know what I'm going to say, right? 'Tis the season. Are you ready for Christmas? I'm ready for Christmas. Well, I'm not ready. I mean, I don't have any shopping done. I don't really do a lot of shopping, but I love Christmas. It's a good time of year. And I know some of you are going, really? Bah, humbug. Why would you say that? Christmas is just a nice time of year, right? Mona Robbins Anderson is saying, hello, Mona. Thank you for stopping by. If you're watching the show right now, up above likely is a link. It's the direct link to watching the show, wherever you're watching from. If you want to be able to see other people's comments, and if you want to share your comments and you want me to see them, much like Mona here, so I'll show you. I take that, I go clickety click, and there you go. I can share the comments and any questions you might have for our guests that are going to be talking with us here this afternoon. You've got to do it from that link. Who we're going to be talking with today? Well, I'll tell you who we're going to talk to today. We're going to talk to St. Clair Child and Youth Services, who's going to be talking to us about a new program. Well, it's been around for a few years, but it's still fairly new. Face Off for Mental Health, right? And Liz Page is going to be joining us to talk to us about that. We're also going to have Katelyn Campbell here to talk about a very rare disease that she's trying to get some awareness for and that have affected her two young children. We'll be talking about that. And then Les Jones from the Sarnia, I can't talk today. It's the cold thing. Les Jones from the Sarnia Legion Branch 62 is going to be talking to us about this year's Remembrance Day, a very special one. Of course, everyone's very special, but this is extra special as celebrating 100 years from World War I, and they're going to be having a special parade route, and he'll be talking to us about that and how you can get out and, remember, right? Sunday, November the 11th. Make sure you do. Anyway, he's going to give us all the information on that. If you're a Christmas person, all right, okay, first of all, if you're watching, just let me know below. Do you like Christmas? I know we just got through Halloween, right? And I don't even know how we got to November like this quick. All of a sudden, like a week ago, it was like June. That's what it seems like. Time sure flies. But Christmas, it's the one time of year that you can be nice to people and they won't accuse you for having a reason of being nice to them. Do you know what I mean? Like if you did something nice for somebody that it's just an acquaintance, if you do it in July, they kind of look at you like, what does he want? But from December 1st on, if you do something nice for somebody, they just go, oh, Merry Christmas. That was nice, right? Anyway, so that's a good reason it could be Christmas all year round. Wouldn't have to be presents all year round. I get it. It's nice to give gifts. I tell my family, don't get me anything. But when they do, because they still do anyway, it's nice, right? Better to give than receive. It's just good to be nice to each other. Anyway, okay, I'm getting off track here. But welcome to the show this week. I've got lots to talk to you about before we get to our first guest. I want to just give you a couple of reminders of some things that are happening. SWIFT, the Southwestern International Film Festival, once again, returning to the Imperial Theater here in Sarnia, Lambton, and it's its fourth year for SWIFT. I'm going to be at most of the event starting November the 8th through the 11th. You can still get some weekend passes or just each day pass Go to imperialtheater.net to get that. We had Rav Srinivas on here a few weeks ago talk about it. He talked about how having it here was important because he's from Sarnia, but there's some great culture around here. They're going to be having workshops. There's going to be live entertainment, music. They're going to be playing Toy Story. That's right. They're going to be playing Toy Story as one of the films that will support Noel's Gift here in Sarnia as well. So a great event, great learning experience. If you're a movie fan, so many great. Go to swift.ca to find out more about what's happening with the Southwestern International Film Festival. Rav's going to be running all over the place. Lots of great entertainment, great movies, workshops. Yeah, you get the idea. So check that out, imperialtheater.net. And keep following along here on the show page because I'll be going live from time to time throughout the weekend. I'm going to be in a lot of places this weekend. It's going to be busy. Canada, Russia. This is one I won't be at. It would be fun to be at, but I'm going to be at Swift. But it's okay. If you're a hockey fan, the Canada-Russia series put on by CIBC is coming to Sarnia this Thursday night, November the 8th, to the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. Should be a great series. Sportsnet will be in the house. So make sure you get down, check that out if you're a hockey fan. The Canada-Russia series, again, happening this Thursday, November the 8th at the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. If you like comedy, who doesn't like a good laugh, right? You know, our friends at the Twisted Arm are having a stand-up comedy night, and that's happening this Saturday on November the 10th. See, November the 10th, like I say it like, wow, I still can't get over how that happened, but here we are. Alfredo is out there as well. Hey, Alfredo, thanks for saying hello. Nice to have you here. So comedy night at the Twisted Arm here in Sarnia. Some great food and great fun down there at Twisted Arm. I don't get there as often as I'd like to, but when I do, it's always a great place to hang out with. All their staff are so friendly and a lot of fun down there. Jen and Tyler do a great job making sure that everybody is looked after. And they're going to look after you with some comedy coming up. That's right, this Saturday, November the 10th. All right. Got to talk about the Sarnia Sting. Boy, this is another tough one. These guys have worked very hard. They've got, a bit of a new team in there, of course. Every year brings on some new players. And, of course, you always lose some. Jamison Reese has certainly been missed on the Sarnia Sting due to an injury. When will he be back? That's a good question. We don't really know. We haven't been told. But sooner than later would be good. But obviously they want him to be 110% before they bring him back. But they've been struggling for sure. Oh, pardon me. The Sarnia Sting have been up and down. Last week was a tough one for them. Most recently, 5-2 against the Windsor Spitfires, and that was down in the Windsor home. So that was a tough loss there for sure. And then prior to that, 3-2 in overtime. That was a tough one as they took on the Barrie Colts here in Sarnia. Barrie, I got to say, both teams, it was a tennis match, back and forth. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. And it was both teams played very, very hard, both very deserving of their game. And then it went to overtime. It looked like the Sarnia Sting were winning, and they had it 2-1. And I think it was about 2.5 minutes left to go, it was all over for the Sarnia Sting when they went into overtime. And then within a couple of minutes, Barrie won it. And we talked to Hugo Lavinius, who got 2 of the goals that night. Well, the only 2 goals for the Sarnia Sting that night. And we talked to him behind the scenes after the game. And we're going to take you to that interview right now. Take a look.
Talked with the boys, and we just said, let's start over here. 20 minutes left. It's even game here. Let's just come out.
Same with Hugo Lavinius and 2 big goals tonight. And I thought a pretty good effort by the squad. Unfortunately, you only come away with the 1 point, giving up that tying goal late in the game. But you can't feel too bad about that game. I thought it was a pretty good game.
I thought so too. I think we came out pretty strong in the first period. I think we created a lot of chances. We worked them hard. Had a good first period. Then we came out second pretty strong too. But then we got a little bit too much of penalties. Hurt us a bit. We lost a bit of momentum. Gave them too much, and then kind of hard to come back. But then we had a tie game, or we had a tie game at the start of the third period there, and we talked with the boys, and we just said, let's start over here. 20 minutes left. It's even game here. Let's just come out strong and try to push them. I think we did a good job at that too. We scored that 2-1 goal. Fortunately, they scored late in the third period, but I think overall it was a good effort by the boys.
I don't know if you remember from last year, but I'm going to even go back a few years. For some reason, this Barrie Colts team, you guys only see them twice a year, but it always seems to be a rough outing and lots of nasty stuff kind of before and after the whistles.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty big. They like to, as you said, they like to be tough, and I think if someone does that to us, we always come back at them. So I think it's good for the game too, like just to get a bit tough and just don't take any and just give back.
Of course, scoring 2 goals tonight, both assisted by Ruzicka. You guys were playing pretty well together, including a very long stretch pass there for your first one.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
No, I think they had a shot on their my defenseman on my side. He had a shot on goal, and then it came around. Just saw that I can go on a breakaway. I screamed for the puck, and he gave a great pass to me, and I just came in and I thought shoot, and I did, and it went in. So it felt good.
You must be feeling pretty confident liking that wrist shot. I know last year when they first started out, the coaching staff wanted you to shoot more. They wanted you to use that shot, and as the year went on, you used it more and more, and obviously this year you seem to be using it quite a bit, and it's working out for you.
Yeah, of course. I'm a pretty big guy. I've got a pretty heavy shot, so I'm trying to work every day to shoot the puck more. And I mean, the guys from Europe usually aren't that selfish, but like scoring or like shooting so much. So Leggy trying to help me a lot with shooting the puck more, and so far it's been going in. So I'm trying to keep going with that.
It doesn't look like you missed the beat since you changed lines. What can you say about your chemistry with Adam out there?
Pardon?
It looks you haven't missed the beat since you changed lines with moving out with McGregor. Now you're out with Ruzicka.
I know. I think we live with Ruzicka. We have a great chemistry at home, and also on the ice. We like each other, and I think we played a couple of games last year, and we got a bit of chemistry from that too. So I think as soon as we got on the line, after I played with Justin and McGregor, I think we've just been clicking, and so far it's been good, and hopefully we're trying to keep going like that.
Kind of staying out of penalty trouble. That's sort of been a common refrain when the guys are coming after the games. Has it been brought up in the room, or the guys working on cutting down on them?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of guys are saying that we need to we need to be tough, but we can't cross that line. I think just like for example today we have the whole second period. I think we had like almost 4 or 5 penalties, and I think that hurt us a lot. And I think the boys are trying to do something about it, and I think in the future we're going to.
One more game left this weekend, a chance to maybe pick up 3 out of 4 points. What do you guys have to do heading into that game?
Windsor's a pretty good team. I think they're strong. They're always hard to play against, especially away. So I think we just need to come up with the same spirit as today. We just have to come out and think that we're going to win this game, and we're going to come out hard. We're going to put puck to the net, get guys to the net, and I think we're going to win that game by that way.
All right, Hugo Lavinius there talking about some frustration there with the Sarnia Sting, but they've got a plan, as always, to try to push forward, just as I like to say, on to the next one. Scoring 2 goals in that game for us, us Sting fans, and for the Sarnia Sting. They're going to be on the road a bit this week, where we're looking at Wednesday. They'll be down in Flint, Michigan, which they were victorious twice in a row already for this season, but and I don't want to, I'm going to jinx them, right? Last year, Flint was definitely a thorn in the side of the Sarnia Sting, and Flint being one of the lower teams. So hopefully they've fixed that problem as well. So that's Wednesday, November the 7th, taking on Flint. And then Friday, November the 9th, they'll be on the road down in Kitchener. Should be a good game there as well. And then we'll be back here on Saturday, November the 10th, as they play host to the Sudbury Wolves. And I'll be live down at the Sarnia Sting, do pregame and intermissions as well. We're going to have a special guest this week down there as well. Teaser, I can't tell you, right? Okay. All right, we're going to switch things up a little bit. My next guest was going to be later, but she's here now, going to talk to us. And, folks, I want you to pay close attention because, when we do this show, I always like to talk and promote about the community. Everybody who knows me knows that I love this community. But there are some things that we're not always fully aware of. And what we're going to be talking about right now is something that's very rare, but you should be aware. and we're going to talk about that right now. And my first guest today, Katelyn Campbell. Thanks for joining me, Katelyn.
Hi, David. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I appreciate you coming on a little early here.
No, great. Excited to be here.
Yeah. I know this is quite a personal story for obvious reasons we're going to get to. So I appreciate you putting yourself out there, I guess, to share this important story. But before we get into that, we've got lots of people watching here. We're going to say hello to Terry Campbell's out there, Dee Steele's out there, Tracy Laker, Ben and Joanna out there. Thank you all for watching. Just tell everybody who you are and a little bit, what do you do?
Okay, I'm Katelyn Campbell, and I live in Wallaceburg, Ontario. I stay at home with my two kids, Alan, who's 5, and Nora, who is 1 year old. My husband, Adam, he works at Agri-Urban in Dresden, Ontario. And our 2 children both have a rare genetic metabolic disease called cystinosis.
Yeah. So, I mean, your family of 4, you're busy, like you got little ones, so they're keeping you busy. But this is something a mutual friend of ours brought to my attention. And I was like, what is that? I've never heard of it. So I guess I don't have to apologize for not knowing because it's so rare, but it's like super rare. So I'll let you share the numbers and then maybe go into how it affects your children or anybody who has it. And then we'll go beyond that.
Absolutely. So definitely don't apologize for never having heard of it. There are physicians who we take our kids in to emerge, and they've never heard of it either. Residents, when they're in the hospital, they've never heard of it. So a lot of times we're the ones that teach people about their care and what they require. So there's 75 young children and young adults who have cystinosis in Canada. It's about 75 to 100. There's 2,000 worldwide, which classifies cystinosis as a rare disease or also known as an orphan disease. So there's like a 1 in 100 to 1 in 200,000 chance that you will have a child with cystinosis. Yeah.
You had to be, I guess my first question is, as rare as it is, and you just made a statement on how many physicians you talked to, they didn't know. So if it's that rare, how do you discover it?
So it took 2 years and 8 months for us to get a diagnosis for Alan. He saw numerous pediatricians, specialists. We brought him to London Emerge because we said, we don't know what else to do. There was nothing an emergency situation that he was in. Our hands were tied. We didn't know what else to do. They admitted him with failure to thrive, and it took about 7 days, and we had a diagnosis.
And I can only imagine as a parent myself, like what were you like, what? Like
they made us promise not to Google cystinosis at all. So they kind of gave us a warning. We were going for an eye exam the next day. And we said, what are we looking for here? And they said, we're looking for crystals in the eyes. If they're present, that would almost 100% confirm a diagnosis of cystinosis. But stay off the internet. But once we know, we'll sit down, we'll talk to you, we'll explain everything to you. So your mind just starts spinning and you're thinking the worst because you have no idea.
So if somebody told me not to Google it, that'd be like putting the do not open this till Christmas or do not push this button and putting it right in front of me. Did you listen to that, or did you just go ahead and do it?
I did listen because I like to try not to panic about things until I know I absolutely have to. So I just waited to get that confirmation.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do too, but it had to be tempting.
It was very hard. I think my husband was a little bit more tempted than I was, and maybe secretly he did look and just never told me. I'll never know.
That's okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So as rare as this happens in not one, but both of your children.
Yes.
How did you find out the second one?
So we knew when we were expecting Nora that there was going to be a 25% chance that she would also have cystinosis.
Okay.
She was tested right from birth, and the hospital knew at 4 days old, and we knew by 5 days old that she had it.
Right. Okay. So now that we kind of understand the rarity and some of the numbers, Let's go a little further. So what does this do? What does this disease cause, and how do you handle it?
So it affects every single cell in their body, but at the stage that they're at right now, their eyes are affected in a way that requires treatment, and as are their kidneys. So they've both developed what is called Fanconi syndrome, which is electrolyte and fluid loss through their kidneys. So we're treating two diseases right now that are present in both of their bodies. So they take cysteamine therapy every 6 hours. It's a medication they both have G tubes in their stomachs. So we do that medication every 6 hours, and then they get eye drops 6 to 8 times a day to remove the crystals from their eyes. So that treats the cystinosis. But then the Fanconi syndrome requires replacement of electrolytes like every 24 hours. So we do multiple replacements of potassium, sodium bicarbonate, different electrolytes all throughout the day. So Alan's on 21 doses of medication, 6 to 8 sets of eye drops, and a needle before bed. And Nora has 14 medications over 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot, right? That's overwhelming. And our mutual friend Matt is out there saying, Adam and Katelyn are two of the strongest people I know, amazing parents and friends. So you must have a lot of support around you. You got family support and friends support. Because I mean, it's hard enough just raising 2 young children, right? Now you add this into all the mix.
Absolutely. We have a neighbor who comes, so we prep what we can for a 7-day period because everything goes into oral syringes. And she comes every Tuesday, and we make like over 100 syringes of medication that go into a drawer for the week. Every Tuesday, she just shows up, she's here, and she helps us out.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what about, I want to get a little personal with you. If I, I'm not going to really cross any lines. I want people to understand though, where does your strength come from? Because I mean, nobody wants to hear, we don't like to hear when our young children, especially when they're babies, when they get a runny nose.
Yeah.
We feel that, or the first time they fall and they bleed somehow, or they break a bone or something like that. But we know that we get through that, and that's healing, right? So where do you get your strength from? Where do you pull this from to get through all this every day?
I think there are multiple places. We have a wonderful community behind us in the cystinosis community. There's a lot of great parents, adults, young children out there who are just inspiring us every day by the way they choose to live their lives.
Yeah.
And when Alan was diagnosed, he was very sick. So to see a child as sick as he was respond to his treatments in the way that he did, he started being able to run. He couldn't jump. He could only walk at a very slow pace. His bones were fragile, and like he didn't have any strength in him. So when he started that treatment and you see him living a better life, you can't hate what you have to do to give him that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, we have to do it, and we get to keep him, and that's all that's ever mattered to my husband and I. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've said over and over again after he was diagnosed. As long as I can keep him, that's all that I care about.
Well, that's love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You've got a lot of people out here supporting. Wow. Mona Robbins Anderson.
Yeah. Hi, Mona.
She said, "Love this family. They're strong and beautiful. Always a smile." Who's Mona?
She works at Riverport Restaurant, where we eat very frequently, and she became one of Alan's best buddies from a very young age. Whenever we go in, he can't wait to see her, give her a big hug, and she's become a family friend because of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you've sort of taken on this beyond just supporting your own family with this and helping your children and getting through day-to-day things by you've got a fundraiser, which I guess is already sold out. You've got a fundraiser coming up.
Yes, 170 tickets. They're gone.
That's fantastic. It's called the Gala of Hope, right?
Yes.
So tell people about this, even though that it's sold out. What's going to be happening there and where it's happening? So
it's at Bogart's Banquet Hall in Sombra, Ontario. We're having meal provided by the Black Goose in Wallaceburg. Rob Jenkins and the Room are the musical entertainment for the evening. We're going to be running a silent auction, playing a heads or tails game, and we have 50-50 tickets that we've been selling since we sort of started advertising the event. And we just want everybody to come out, have a great time, maybe spend a little bit of money, and learn a little bit about what Cystinosis is and who this community is and why we are fundraising.
Wow, Rob Jenkins in the Room. I know those guys. They're a lot of fun, man. I'm kind of jealous that I can't get there now because you're sold out, boy. But that's fantastic. So the community's really come together for you and shown a lot of support. Let me ask you sort of a financial question. I mean, you've got all these medications and treatments and whatever else you got to do. Where does that come from? Is that covered through OHIP? Is that how do you deal with that?
There are a variety of programs that cover different forms of medications. So some fall under a metabolic program, which is an Ontario government program. Some fall under the ODSP, the Ontario Disability, and some of them are just a program in their own. My son's on human growth hormone, and there's a whole separate program just for covering that. There are some that we pay for out of pocket. So potassium runs us about $30 a week, phosphate $6 a week, and I make sodium bicarbonate out of distilled water and baking soda.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's just pulling from everywhere we can.
Right. So you're okay there? Like, I mean, you know, every bit helps obviously, but that's not a real big issue for you?
No, we've been really lucky so far, especially being in Ontario, being in Canada. You know, the day Alan was diagnosed, they took care of the paperwork, and we walked out of the hospital a few days later with everything that we needed and, you know, stress about medications.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic to hear because, you know, I think you hear a lot of horror stories about people not getting their medication and stuff. And of course, you know, it affects a young child, right? I mean, that's yeah. Mine are grown 18 and 21, and I still, you know, I can't imagine. So, you know, it's fantastic that you've got this community supporting you and that you're putting yourself out there to help advocate for this, I guess, as well. So beyond this gala of hope, as far as advocating and creating awareness, do you have other plans, or how involved with you? Is there an organization or something that you can get involved with?
So everything's going through the Live a Little Foundation. Their name is kind of fun because their daughter's name is Olivia Little. So Live a Little. And she's 8 years old. She has cystinosis, like Alan and Nora. They're based out of Port Elgin, Ontario.
Oh.
So Olivia sees the same pediatric nephrologist as Alan and Nora do. Her mom was one of my first contacts in our community that I made, and their family has been great friends of ours. They do a big golf tournament every year down in Port Elgin that has a great turnout and is a really fun event. And they actually just invited me this morning to join their board.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So I'm very excited about that and getting more involved with the foundation in the future.
Very good. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining and sharing the story here. Is there anything else you want to share that maybe I've forgotten to bring up, or you want to make sure people are aware of?
I think just that, you know, we were lucky when Alan was diagnosed, and then Nora, that we had a treatment, but this treatment is not a cure. The disease still progresses, and the life expectancy is only on average 27 years with cystinosis under the current treatments. They'll still require a kidney transplant, maybe multiple in that time. So our hope and our goal with fundraising is to bring about better treatments and to bring about a cure, so that when future families sit in that room and receive this type of news as we did, that they can have a cure handed to them right away.
Fantastic. Well, I wish all the best to you and your family. And you know what, you and I talked on the phone the other day, and I meant what I said. So make sure you stay in touch with me, okay?
Yes,
and we'll do whatever we can at this end. We want to get a video out there for you, and whatever else we can do to make people aware, right?
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. This is great.
You're very welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Bye now. Katelyn Campbell talking to us. Wow, incredible story there. And we're going to be posting some information after the show. Everybody we talk to, I always go back and we'll post some links so you can get more information about cystinosis. And then Katelyn Campbell, of course, moving forward, is going to be advocating for a cure. So we'll keep you updated with that. Lots of people out there saying, "Oh, I'll absolutely love my family." That's Terry Campbell. Way to go, Katelyn. She did a fantastic job. Got a lot of support out here. Caitlin Marie, could not be more proud of you. Love, Christine. That's from Ben and Christine. Fantastic. So thanks, everybody, for showing your support out here as well. And thank you, Caitlin, for joining. I've got my next guest ready. I think I got just going to do a quick refresh here. Technology does not like me today, so stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. All right, just like that, I'm back. And I'm still waiting for my St. Clair Child and Youth guest. I'm not sure, we're having a little trouble there, but we'll move forward because he's ready. I'll get you to turn your camera the other way there, Les, because you're looking crooked. I'm going to bring you on. Yeah, you're sideways, buddy. There you go. That's better.
Is that better?
Now you're good to go. We're live, buddy.
Okay.
Fantastic. Everybody, please welcome Les Jones here from the Sarnia Branch 62, the Sarnia Legion. How's it going today?
Very good, thank you. Yes.
Good. I know you're very active with the Legion. Tell everybody who you are and your involvement with the Sarnia Legion.
So yeah, I joined the Legion quite some time ago. Once I retired from the police department about almost 3 years ago, I began getting involved in the executive. So I hold a few positions. I'm the second vice president. I'm also the public relations officer. I share the duties of the sergeant at arms.
Okay.
And I'm on the honors and awards committee.
So you're a busy guy.
Very busy. And of course, this is a very busy time for the Legion right now with November the 11th quickly approaching.
Yes. Well, and this is they're all a special remembrance, but this is an extra remembrance, an extra special one, right? Because of 100 years from World War I. Is that right?
Yeah, this is this will be the end of World War I, 100 years ago. The 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month. So yeah, it's a very historical event.
Yeah. And, with that being said, I mean, the history to this, there's quite a history to this, actually. We've been talking to Don Poland, of course, who's a part of the Plimpton, Wyoming Museum. But there's a special story in there about a young fellow with a diary, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on right now as well. Last night, in conjunction with the Sarnia Historical Society, they brought Dr. Lockyer from Ottawa. She's a young woman that she works for the government, DND, and her role is to, once remains are found in France, Belgium, or in Europe, she tries to identify those remains and have a proper burial for those people.
That would be quite a process, I would think, to be able to identify that. What would that involve?
Well, a lot of it is it's just like being a detective, actually. Yeah, so DNA surprisingly seemed to be one of the last aspects of the investigation. During last night's talk, she walked us through a case study of a soldier's remains that they found from World War I. He was from Montreal. Wow. And they were able to identify him with artifacts found with the body, just measuring the bones and aging the bones, and some historical records that they had. They were able to positively identify him. And he was properly buried in France. And I don't know if people know this or not, but there's about 27,000 Canadians that have no known grave.
Wow. No,
Yeah, I
wouldn't
found
have
that.
known
Yeah.
that.
No, I was very surprised to hear that. But once you look into World War One and see what kind of carnage and just some of the methods they had of killing, it's not surprising that a lot of these soldiers, their remains were never found once they died.
Well, you talk about that, I think we probably forget, what year that really was, and some of the folks that I've talked to, they're like, yeah, we had like guns that had to be pulled by 4 horses to move that gun, and through the mud and the muck and whatever else is going on, and you might move that four times a day, and you had to hide the horses, and like it really is kind of unimaginable, really, for that time of what was happening. Do you find, Remembrance Day, and you and I've had many discussions about the importance of Remembrance Day, and for many different people and different reasons it is. Are people really remembering? Are enough people remembering? Because we see that generation change.
I think they are. I know you've been to the Remembrance Day parade ceremony at Veterans Park every year, and there are some pretty good numbers, some very good numbers. This dinner that Sarnia Hills Historical Society put on last night was sold out. Last year they did a Vimy dinner; it was sold out.
Yeah, very
very quickly. So I think we're doing a better job, and that's part of the role of the Legion, keepers of remembrance. So yeah, as long as we just keep reminding people and keeping it, here's 100 years and we're still thinking about these men and women that died for their country or came home injured either by body or by spirit, and we're still remembering them. And Canada, for a small country during World War One, made a huge contribution. About 620,000 Canadians served in World War One. That's a huge number I think the population was probably about 8 million back then. And there's about 60,000 that paid the ultimate price.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. The Legion has certainly done its part in the poppies and many other the advocating to remember. Can you share a little bit about locally here in Sarnia what the Legion has done? There's something special that's happened downtown, right?
You're talking about Veterans Park or
and the banners, though. Isn't there some banners?
Oh, the banners. Yeah, that's a program we started last year. So family members usually can sponsor a banner, and it's an image of the soldier that they want to remember, and that banner is put up thanks to some community partners, and they'll go up for a couple weeks. And at the end we put them up for 3 years.
Right.
And at the end of 3 years, that banner is actually given to the person that sponsored that banner as a bit of a keepsake. And we filled up all the available spots, 38. We were very pleasantly surprised that we were able to fill up all the spots that were available to us.
Yeah.
And there's actually a waiting list now.
We'll just have to find some more spots to hang.
Well, yeah, we've been in discussion with the city, and we're looking for some more places that we can hang banners, because people they thought it was a great idea, and they were very supportive.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. Let's. I've got to start wrapping up with you. I've found my other guest, but
okay.
Let's talk about the parade this year. There's some adjustments that are going to be made. So tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so once again, because it's the 100th, we want to make sure that weather is not a factor here, that inclement weather will not deter people coming out. It is on a Sunday. So right. The parade is going to just be along Wellington Street. We'll form up around Christina and Wellington, and we'll proceed to the arena. We make a quick stop at Veterans Park, but people are encouraged just to go to the arena. That's where the ceremony is going to be. That's where the wreath laying is going to be. You can get in there early. The concession is even going to be open until 11:15. So you can go down there, get situated, grab yourself a coffee, and wait for the parade to enter. We'll be coming in through the Zamboni doors.
Okay, fantastic. And what time's the parade begin?
We step off or start the march at 10:30 in the morning.
Right.
And so we've mapped it out as best we could, and we're pretty sure we'll arrive there just before 11 o'clock,
right.
as we normally do, and that's when it'll start. And one more thing that'll be going on, an initiative that the Royal Canadian Legion started, is the Bells of Peace.
Oh, yes.
So at 12:30, we'll have probably 10 participants, churches, ringing the church bells at 12:30.
Okay.
That is the way they got the word out at the end in 1918 that the war was over.
Yeah.
No social media, no Dave Burrows then. So that's how they got the word out. So in commemoration of that, they're going to have the bells ringing at 12:30. So
Okay.
if you're downtown, you'll probably hear them after the ceremony.
Fantastic.
They're going to ring 100 times. 100 times they'll ring.
Oh, so they will, eh? Okay. I was going to ask if you're going to do that. Well,
Yeah.
Les, thanks so much for spending your time here and talking about that today, and spending your time with the Legion, and give thanks to everybody down there that puts all their effort. And I know we'll see you Sunday on Remembrance Day.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the time, Dave. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care. Our friend Les Jones from the Sarnia Legion, and he's going to be there. Actually, going to be live streaming the events as well. If for some reason you can't make it down there, come on down if you can get out. The live stream is, if you can't make it there, that's great. But I think it's really important when people see a presence. It shows a lot of respect. So as he said, they'll start off at 10:30, Wellington in front, and then they'll make a stop at the Cenotaph, and then finish things down at the Sarnia Arena, the Brock Street Barn, and I'll be broadcasting the parade, and then I'll be inside at the Sarnia Arena live streaming the ceremonies as well. So thanks again, Les Jones. Okay, the ladies are ready. We had a bit of a confuzzle there, but we're okay now, and they're smiling. That's good.
We're laughing. We're not smiling, we're laughing.
You're smiling and you're laughing. That's fantastic. Well, I'm glad you got through this technological nightmare, and now you're pros.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome, Liz, and we've got Kim here as well. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome, Liz. I'll start off with you. You're part of St. Clair Child and Youth Services, and if you could just kind of tell everybody, about the agency and yourself, what you do there.
Okay, so I am one of the workers here at St. Clair Child and Youth, and I've started to get involved in the Face Off for Mental Health campaign last year when the idea was born, and it's expanded this year, and I'm involved with Point Edward Hockey as well, so I kind of wear two hats with this campaign. So it's been a lot of fun, but my real job is here at St. Clair Child and Youth, and the Face Off for Mental Health campaign is sort of more of a hobby.
Right, okay. And I should say all that, and I got the puck too.
That's a collector's item now.
It is. I'm never going to get rid of it. This is important. I learned about this. Is this the second year? Is that right? Or
yes, that's correct.
Okay. Because I missed it last year. I hadn't really heard about it until after the fact, and was talking with our friend Craig, and he kind of informed me about it. I was like, wow, I never heard of this. This is really caught on too. Like, we're not even just at this level. This is going through OHL level and even into NHL level, right?
We hope so. We're hoping to grow it every year. We would love to see it go to the provincial level and national level for sure. I know that our friends out in Strathroy, the pins that we have made this year have made it as far as Strathroy, and I had a team from Cambridge request some just last night. So it's certainly, I think, gaining some momentum. I know that social media is very helpful with that, and Twitter and those platforms as well. So it's been pretty exciting to watch it grow. Yeah,
and that's I think it's so awesome. I think it's a great program, and I'll tell my reasons why, besides the obvious, in just a moment. Kim, I'm going to get to you, but I just wanted to mention first that mental health is obviously, we're breaking a lot of barriers here. in mental health.
right.
Like if you look back, and Liz, you are closer to this than me, you would know the stats. I think anyway, we're breaking down barriers because we've been talking about it, speaking out about it. Is that an accurate thing to say? Are we breaking barriers through?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the numbers sort of translate to 1 in 5 children struggle with mental health issues. And when you look at that from a hockey perspective, that's like one player on every line.
Yeah.
So, 3 kids per team, 3 or more,
Mm-hmm.
because that 1 in 5 is probably a conservative number, really, because lots of kids don't talk about it. Or
I was going to say that's the ones that are admitting to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for sure, I think we're trying to eliminate the stigma and let kids know that it's okay to talk and that the rink is a safe space, and not that we're trying to, heap responsibility on coaches or have them in a role that they're not comfortable in. But usually those coaches are role models and mentors and trusted adults. So they're in a really good position to direct kids to the proper resources.
Well, and let's face it. I mean, what's that saying? That it takes a community to raise a child, all that stuff. But like teachers would be a good example.
Absolutely.
If they've got our children like 6, almost 8 hours a day.
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of have an influence on our children.
They have a huge impact on our children.
And if you're playing hockey, I don't know, what is it? 2 practices a week and maybe 1 or 2 games.
Depends on the level, but that's a pretty fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're definitely involved. All right. Okay, Kim, Kim Shaw, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Tell us who you are, or tell everybody who you are and what brought you here today.
Well, I'm Stephanie Shaw's mom, and we've been doing a few other things within the community for mental health. And I'm also a member of the Lambton Family Advisory Committee here at St. Clair Child and Youth. And mostly, I think this is an absolutely wonderful thing, a wonderful event that these guys have put together. And it's going throughout the whole month of November, so you can catch games every single weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 in 5 analogy is really a very true thing. I've witnessed it with kids on my girls' sport teams, and one of them was mine. And it's sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
I'm just really happy local hockey has stepped up and done something about this. The soccer teams and basketball teams, nobody's really done anything. So this is wonderful in educating parents and coaches as well as the players.
Mm-hmm.
And to give a little bit of backstory, a coach approached Craig at our agency and was sort of searching for some resources and answers. He had a young player that was struggling, and he was kind of at a loss. He's like, I just don't know what to do. I don't want to make a mistake. What do I do? And that's kind of, I think, where the idea was born. And Craig, reached out to the local hockey associations and asked us to come together at a table and talk about how can we sort of make it okay for kids to talk at the rink. How can we provide resources? So last year when that started, we did some bench staff training for coaches, just around the basics, just around red flags, what to look for.
Sure. If
a player was struggling, how would you approach them? What kinds of resources would you offer? St. Clair Child and Youth has a walk-in clinic. Kids Helpline is 24/7, just those sorts of things. So just wanting to make sure that coaches had the tools they needed in case they needed to support or assist a family.
Yeah, and the walk-in clinic is a fantastic thing that is offered there at St. Clair Child and Youth. And is it getting used?
Oh, yes. It's very busy. It's every Tuesday from 12 until 8. The last appointment goes in about 6 o'clock at night. And those sessions are 2 therapists for probably about an hour and a half-ish. And then every Thursday morning from 9 until noon, with the last appointment going in around 10:30. So those 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, are very, very hectic days around our agency. The parking lot's overflowing, and there's lots of people milling around waiting to be seen, and also sort of supporting people that they're with, which is nice to see. And we're hoping to grow our capacity for walk-in. We realize the community needs that support.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's good to, in one way it's good to see, but in another, it's like, it's kind of like, kind of wish we didn't have to have it, but the fact is we do. So it's there. And I don't know And forgive me, I don't know if I'm talking out of turn with this because I'm not educated like you are with it, but are we ever going to see it? Like, is there a cure for mental health, or is it just a way to cope with mental health?
I don't think there's a cure. Do you, Kim?
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I think there's management.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of what I was
and
thinking.
proactive,
Yeah.
Education and support and building in supports in our community so that families and children who are struggling can access those supports easily. That would go a long ways to sort of meeting the need and sort of intervening before crisis level.
Right.
We're trying to get people in the habit of, looking to the appropriate resources in the community instead of, maybe jumping a step and heading off to Blue Water Health if they're not feeling mentally well.
Right.
And doing it as young as possible, too.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, our 0 to 6 program here at the agency is very busy, and sort of that whole shift to infant mental health and the early years, and making sure that kids who are struggling with coping strategies or anxiety it's caught early and we start to support them young.
It seems like a whole bunch going on, right? Like as far as like there's so much connected to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could, yeah, you already know, but there's a list of things that are attached to it, right?
Yeah.
And Kim, I'd like to come over to you for just a moment. As a parent, what about support for you, the parent who's lost a child, or like, was that available to you? And
there is grief support now. And there's specific groups for suicide, which is what happened with Steph. And there wasn't back when I experienced it. So
Okay.
it was difficult. It was a difficult road to go down. I actually didn't seek out talking to anybody. I went with social media instead and
Right.
told my story. And it was pretty therapeutic doing it that way.
Mhm.
But I can't lie. Like, I mean, it still hurts. I
Well-
think it will for the rest of my life. But yeah. You get through.
Well, yeah, I guess you do if you choose to, but I mean, it's I can't imagine, right? So the support. I mean, family and friends are great. I have good family and friends around me that I can lean on, but sometimes too, I go, but I don't want to bother them. I don't want to repeat my story and over. So it's nice to be able to go to a third party who maybe doesn't have an emotional attachment to that situation too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the benefit of having groups now that people are able to attend. And I know a few people that have actually used them and they love the fact they've been able to be involved in something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Well-
your community work, Kim's community work and sort of funneling her energy into the Steph Shaw Memorial Ball Tournament, coming to the Family Advisory Committee meetings, helping us with Face Off for Mental Health. I feel like those are really great outlets. And I mean, it seems to be, really helping you, I don't know, sort of light that fire around what are we going to do about this, rather than just, this is really awful and hard. What are we going to do next?
I kind of found my own way before there were grief groups for me to attend. So I just kept going that way.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be okay, right? I mean, you talk about these, ball hockey and whatever. Like, I don't think there's been too many shows that I've done that weren't about mental health where the word mental health came up in the conversation. Like, it's just, it's coming up more and more in daily conversations, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about it more, we're getting it out there. And I know, like, I don't know, when I was a teenager, I went to St. Clair Child and Youth Services, right? It was part of my life. So that's probably why I got a bit of an attachment there. But I couldn't imagine. And at the time I was like, I don't want to talk to somebody. Nobody wants to talk to it. Who wants to talk to counselors, right? That stigma sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to have changed now. It seems now that it's really okay to do this, and you don't really have to hide about it. I mean, obviously there's still confidentiality for many different reasons, but it seems that more and more people are going, okay, I have a son or a daughter that's doing this, and I don't know how to handle it because there's still as many as books have been written about parenting. I don't think there is a real good one yet.
There's no perfect one, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I guess that's the barrier that's being broken down as more and more people speaking about it, which is great. But you talk about, pardon me, come back to the hockey level. Let's even talk about the OHL. I know that, I don't know if it's all the teams or whatever, but I know some teams, they have mental health coaches. And, I talk a lot about the hockey thing where here we are at an OHL level. You've got a teenage boy or girl, right? Playing hockey at that level. And they're going to school. They're away from their families. They're traveling how many days a week? They're rehearsing. They're practicing hockey, going to school, getting good grades. And oh, by the way, I'd like to be a teenager too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure.
A lot for sure. And I think that's one of the reasons why I, when I first heard about it, I was like, wow, I can totally see this because I know a lot of those players, right? And Liz, I know you're really well connected into that too, right? So you can't imagine not having it, really.
Yes. Yeah, the Legionnaires, I know that they have a program as well for all of their players that come to town, and I'm sure the Sting does as well. And, they make sure they're connected and supported, and they have somebody checking in with them and that sort of thing, which, we have representation at the committee level here for Face-Off from the Legionnaires as well, and it's been really sort of, I guess, really inspiring to see how committed they are to their players.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, let's talk about Face-Off and when that's happening and more about the program.
Okay. So at our committee level, we have representation from Sarnia Hockey Association, East Lambton, Lambton Attack, which is girls hockey, Lambton AAA Sting. Tom Badpuck is at our table, and he is a workaholic. He's all over this. The Point Edward Blackhawks and the Petroleum Minor Hockey, Moortown Flags, Moortown Minor Hockey, the Lady Flags, the Lambton Shores Predators, the Lady Sting, and the Legionnaires. So we are really well represented. We have a nice cross section, boys hockey, girls hockey, junior B, and recently, Jake Bury from the Sarnia Sting has reached out saying, how can we get involved, which is really exciting as well. Yeah. We hope to sort of maybe, have some sort of a presence there as well. So during the month of November, we're asking players to tape their sticks green, and that gives a real visual, cue that, it's a solid, unified message that they're raising awareness and eliminating the stigma associated with mental health. So that's pretty exciting to walk into a rink all around town, and that's what you'll see is their sticks are taped green. Helmet stickers, Planet Stitch hooked us up with some helmet stickers.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, Duffy and Patsy at Planet Stitch. They look just like our logo. And then we had 5,000 pins made. So every single player and every coach gets a Face-Off for Mental Health pin, and they can put that on their jacket. And when people say, what's that pin all about, that starts a conversation. Right. So we're hoping to really tie that message in. It's in the dressing room. It's in the arena. It's, on your jacket. It's on your stick. What's this all about? Let's talk about it. And tomorrow I'm heading off to Strathroy for a local league executive meeting, and I'm talking to teams that Point Edward plays against. So Lucan, Ilderton, Dorchester, Belmont, further more towards London and beyond. And it's on the agenda for tomorrow to tell them about Face-Off. And hopefully maybe there'll be a center rep from their organization that can sort of carry the puck across the goal line, I guess, with that analogy. But just to sort of grow it, because I think that, like you said, there's a place for it in every community.
Yeah, well, all the best to you on that, because I think you just basically said it. There's a place in every community around the world, really, right? So I wish you the best of luck with that. And I'd like to get a couple of those pins if I can somehow.
We can arrange that.
Then I'd like to. Then I'll wear it on my broadcasts for the month of November at the Sarnia Sting too. So
certain teams are picking certain weekends, and then we'll have a resource table there from St. Clair Child and Youth, and the Legionnaires are doing a mental health awareness night on December the 13th. So we're going to have a ceremonial puck drop. All the players from the home and away team are going to tape their stick green. There's going to be special pricing for tickets. And one of the board members for the Legionnaires, her granddaughter Ashlyn has developed these bracelets. It's called Ashlyn's Artwear, and $5 from every bracelet that she sells will come back to Face Off for Mental Health. So our hope is to make this program sustainable every year, because we don't really have a budget line here at St. Clair Child and Youth for this program, but we realize how important it is, and we want to find a way to do it every year.
Well, get that Ashlyn girl in touch with me so I can talk about her and get her selling some more bracelets.
Maybe she can be on your show.
I absolutely send her my way. No problem.
She's young. She's 10 or 11. I think maybe she's 11. And she has her own Facebook page. It's called Ashlyn's Artwear.
Okay, I gotta read that
I'll
down.
send you the link. Maybe you can
would you please? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a really dynamic young girl. She's got a little business going, and she is doing a fantastic job. She is.
See, that's awesome, right? Because that's the kind of stuff we need to hear, that young generation
absolutely
getting involved in. And no, I love that kind of stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Right on. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me here today. And Kim, thank you so much for sharing, part of your story here today as well. I appreciate your strength. And I'd like to talk to you more too, Kim, about some things too, that maybe we can work on some things together if you're up for that.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. All right, ladies. Yeah, go ahead.
Before you go, Dave, Tom Babcock would be sad if I didn't mention he has a game at 2:30 on November 18th. And he'll be doing a check presentation from his golf tournament that he worked with Kim on. So November 18th at 2:30 at the Clearwater Arena, I believe.
The Pasa Rink 1.
Oh, Pasa Rink 1.
Yep.
There you go. So I just wanted to, a little plug for Tom, because he's worked really, really hard, and he's
Tom's
got
great.
some big plans for that day. So shout out to Tom, because he's getting her done.
He's amazing.
Fantastic.
Oh, and Moortown, it's their weekend this weekend.
Yes, Moortown Minor Hockey's awareness days are this weekend. And some of the other places like Point Edward has chosen to do the entire month of November. So stop in anytime at any rink around town, and you should be able to see some good hockey and some sticks taped green.
You know what? Could you send me? Do you have like a list or a schedule of all of that happening?
I believe I do.
All right, so send me all that stuff, whatever you can think of, so that way I can keep posting it out there, and we'll get some more awareness out there too. I think it's really fantastic. I don't have to say it, you ladies know it, but we live in a fantastic community here in Sarnia Lambton. We really do.
We really do.
Yes.
It's a very generous community.
They've been wonderful for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very tight.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Thank you, ladies. I'm going to let you go, and I'm sorry about the mix-up there.
That's
I appreciate you sticking with me.
Thank
Yeah, there you go.
So much.
And you're pros now, right? So anytime I want you back, you guys.
We might know what we're doing now.
Yeah.
There you go. Thanks so much, ladies.
Take care.
Fantastic. I love those conversations, see things happening in the community. And Liz, thanks so much for being here. And Kim Shaw, thanks for sharing your story. Wow, we had a busy show here today. Fantastic. We'll just go back. We had Katelyn Campbell was here earlier today talking about cystinosis and her two young children, and a special event coming up there. And keep in mind, folks, I'll post links to all of our guests so you can find out more. Probably about an hour from now, I'll have all that stuff up on our Facebook page here as well. Our friend Les Jones from Sarnia Legion Branch 62 talking about the 100th year of World War I, the special Remembrance Day event that's going to happen on Sunday, November the 11th. A different parade route this year, going from Wellington and Front Street with a stop at the Cenotaph, and then continuing on to the Brock Street Barn or the Sarnia Arena on Brock Street. Pardon me, where I'll be live streaming the special ceremonies for that day as well. And then, of course, our lovely lady friends there's Liz and Kim. Thanks for being here as well. Just a couple of things I got to mention. Of course, I wasn't ready. I'm trying to multitask, and I'm not. But if you haven't heard of Twitch, and if you have heard of Twitch, Twitch is originally a gaming platform, but it's now opened up the doors to so many different things, for painting to fixing cars it's kind of a social engaged YouTube. You really need to check it out. It's been around for many years. It's owned by Amazon, and I do several streams there every week now. Every Sunday night, I do a special program called Twitch Talk, where we talk and explore about esports, entrepreneurship, and live streaming. You never know who's going to show up there too. And we have a lot of fun too. It's not just boring live streaming stuff. So that's every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. It's a 3-hour live talk show. So check that out. Tonight, it's on. It's Father versus Son. That's right. It's tonight at 8 o'clock on Twitch TV, where my son, Jason, when you were a kid and you tried to beat your dad at checkers, Well, it's the other way around. I'm trying to beat him at some games, and he's teaching Dad the lessons. But we have a lot of fun. It's very entertaining, good, clean fun. So I hope you'll come by tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern and watch that. And this is all happening on my channel, twitch.tv/DavBurrows. And then tomorrow night, interactive fun, where we do some trivia games. We play a game called Jackbox Party, and we have marble races where you can pick a marble and hopefully win one of the races. We do that. Yes, I know it sounds really silly, but it's very, very addicting. I warn you. So come and check me out on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DavBurrows. And I think that's it. Yeah, I'm going to make sure, check my notes. All righty. Thanks again to all my guests who came by. Really do appreciate them. And I really appreciate all of you. That's all the time I got for you this week, everybody. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I'll talk to you next time right here on the show live. Bye for now.